Today, it's worth considering the choreography, not just the choreography of diplomacy, but the unspoken messages in the missed moments. President Donald Trump is returning to the United Kingdom for an unprecedented state visit. But behind the regalia and the gilded cutlery lies a striking absence. There will be no private meeting between Trump and King Charles prior to the formal state occasion, and that detail, seemingly trivial to outsiders, is in fact loaded with meaning constitutional, political, and personal. In February, a letter was delivered from King Charles to President Trump via the Prime Minister, Starmer, and in it the monarch proposed not merely a ceremonial return to Windsor, but an informal private meeting first, likely in Scotland, where both men were to be over the summer. Such encounters are not protocol bound. They are deliberate gestures of warmth, discretion, and personal rapport, and in this case, they're not to be realised. The summer meeting has been cancelled officially because of diary clashes, but in diplomacy, what doesn't happen can matter just as much as what does. The palace now says the king looks forward to hosting Trump formally in September, but this change strips away the possibility of candid, off-the-record dialogue between one head of state and another, what shall we call him, president with a comb-over, a conversation that could have helped shape the tone, if not the substance, of the future visit. Trump is no stranger to British royalty. He met Queen Elizabeth II during his 2018 working visit, and again for a full visit in 2019. Both occasions were awkwardly memorable. There was the notorious moment he walked in front of Her Late Majesty, breaking protocol. There were the grandiose pronouncements, the clumsy handshakes, and yet Trump relished the pageantry. He adored the spectacle. But the monarchy, for all its ceremony, relies on subtlety and stability, and Trump, as a personality, as a politician, has never been accused of subtlety. And now, in his second term and freshly re-enthroned in Washington, his position is far more controversial than before. In particular, King Charles finds himself in an uneasy constitutional position. He's head of state not only of the UK but also of Canada, a country that Trump has quite astonishingly suggested might become the 51st American state. The monarch's recent visit to Canada, therefore, and his reaffirmation of Canadian sovereignty in its parliament was a clear and pointed rebuke of Trump's rhetoric. And the formal invitation, the Manu Regia, was delivered to Trump, and it confirms the September state visit, but reports in the Times suggest that the timeline was pushed forward by Sir Keir Starmer, keen to curry favour with the Trump administration and soften the blow of its America First policies. If true, this could mean that the palace's preferred plan, a slower two-step approach culminating in a state visit, was overridden by political calculus, and Downing Street denies any such friction. A spokesperson said the government and palace remain firmly aligned, but the optics suggest something else: a prime minister chasing relevance, a palace trying to maintain discretion, and a king caught between symbolic deference and real-world concerns about Trump's conduct. So why does it matter there will be no private meeting? First, because it signals a lack of trust. Informal talks suggest openness, their absence suggests caution. Second, it reveals the careful balancing act Charles must play, upholding constitutional convention by acting on government advice, while quietly managing his own network of Commonwealth ties, many of whom view Trump with suspicion, if not disdain. Third, it points to the deeper unease within British establishment. While some see Trump's visit as an opportunity, others regard it as a liability, particularly at a time when Trump is fanning global instability, backing Israel's Gaza war, and undermining multilateral alliances. This is not just about a missed meeting in Balmoral. It's about what Britain's monarchy can and cannot say about the world it inhabits. Trump will still get the red carpet, the carriages, the clinking crystal in Windsor, but the quiet conversation over whiskey in a Highland sitting room, that has been lost. And that silence speaks volumes.